Have you ever laid in bed, listening to the clock tick away, knowing that any minute now you'll have to make that all-too-familiar trip down the hallway? That feeling of pressure, that nightly interruption. Many of us have been told it's just a non-negotiable part of getting older. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? What if the key to unlocking a night of deep, uninterrupted sleep and reclaiming your comfort isn't in a pill bottle, but in the small choices you make after the sun goes down? Today, we're not just talking about problems. We're uncovering profound, life-changing solutions. We will explore 5 silent nighttime habits that could be sabotaging your prostate health. And more importantly, we'll embark on a journey to transform them. Stick with me, because a better night's sleep is waiting for you. Part 1. Taming the Midnight Flood. Rethinking your relationship with water. We've all heard the advice, chanted like a mantra by health experts everywhere. Stay hydrated. It's good for your skin, your kidneys, your energy levels. And so many of us, with the best of intentions, keep a large glass of water on our nightstand, taking dutiful gulps before turning out the light. We think we're flushing out toxins, doing our bodies a favor. But for men over 60, this well-meaning habit can turn into a nightly flood, putting immense and unnecessary strain on our internal plumbing. Let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening. As we age, our bodies produce less of a key anti-diuretic hormone, ADH, at night. This hormone's job is to tell the kidneys to slow down urine production while we sleep, allowing for long stretches of restorative rest. When we drink a large volume of liquid close to bedtime, we're essentially overriding this natural process. Our kidneys, now flooded with fluid, have no choice but to work overtime, producing urine at a daytime rate. This urine flows down to the bladder, which, in a man with an already enlarged prostate, is sitting in a very tight neighborhood. An enlarged prostate, or benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, acts like a clamp on the urethra. Imagine a garden hose with a foot stepping on it. The flow is restricted. Now imagine trying to force a large amount of water through that constricted hose. The pressure builds up. This is precisely what happens inside your body. Your bladder fills quickly and struggles to empty against the resistance of the prostate. It sends desperate signals to your brain. Code red, we need to empty, now! And so, you're awake, again. This isn't just about the inconvenience. Each time this cycle occurs, it contributes to low-grade inflammation. The bladder walls get stretched and irritated. The prostate, already under pressure, becomes more inflamed and swollen. It's a vicious cycle. The habit causes the symptom, and the symptom is worsened by the habit. I remember a gentleman in our community, Richard, an engineer who retired from the oil and gas industry. He was convinced his nightly 4 or 5 trips to the bathroom were just his prostate acting up. He was drinking 2 tall glasses of iced water every night while watching the news, believing he was helping his system. We talked about the concept of a hydration schedule. The idea isn't to drink less water overall, but to drink it smarter. The solution is simple, yet profound. Front-load your hydration. Make it your mission to consume the majority of your daily fluids, your water, your juice, your tea, before 6 p.m. Think of it as fueling up for the day, not for the night. From dinner onwards, your drinking should become intentional and minimal. If you're thirsty, take small, gentle sips to moisten your mouth. Don't gulp down a full glass. After Richard shifted his habit, drinking his water throughout the morning and afternoon, the results were astounding. Within a week, he was sleeping for 5-hour stretches. He told me, with a sparkle in his eye, I thought my body was failing me, but it turns out I was just giving it the wrong instructions. Your body is ready to rest at night. Let's stop sending it into a flood zone and instead give it the peaceful, dry land it needs to repair and restore. Part 2. The Salty Saboteur. How your dinner plate affects your night. There's a certain comfort in an evening meal, isn't there? After a long day, settling in with something warm and savory can feel like a reward. For many, this means convenient options: a frozen lasagna, a can of hearty soup, some deli meats for a sandwich, or a takeout meal loaded with delicious sauces. They seem harmless, even comforting. But lurking within these modern conveniences is a saboteur to your peaceful night's sleep: sodium. When we talk about prostate health, we often focus on liquids, but the food we eat, especially in the evening, plays an equally critical role. Highly processed and salty foods do something insidious to our bodies. They make us retain fluid. You might eat a salty meal at 7 p.m. and not feel immediately thirsty, but your body's cells are screaming for water. To balance the high concentration of salt in your bloodstream, your body holds on to every drop of water it can. This retained fluid doesn't just vanish. It has to be processed and expelled eventually. And the time your body chooses to do this is often in the dead of night, while you're trying to sleep. This process places a double burden on your system. First, as we've discussed, it leads to increased urine production overnight, triggering those unwanted wake-up calls. But it goes deeper. A high sodium diet is closely linked to higher blood pressure. This systemic pressure doesn't just affect your heart, it affects the delicate network of blood vessels throughout your body, including those that supply the pelvic region. Reduced circulation means the tissues around your prostate can become more congested and inflamed, making it even harder for your bladder to do its job. Your body is supposed to be in a state of rest and repair during sleep. Instead, a salty dinner keeps your kidneys, your circulatory system, and your adrenal glands working on overdrive. You wake up not only to use the restroom, but feeling vaguely swollen, tired, and unrested. Let's meet another friend from our community, George, 82. He prided himself on his easy dinners of canned chili and saltine crackers. He complained of a constant, dull pressure in his lower abdomen and a frustratingly weak stream. He'd cut back on water, but nothing helped. When we audited his diet, the culprit became clear. The sheer amount of sodium in his evening meals was creating a state of perpetual internal stress. The antidote is to treat your dinner as a meal of gentle nourishment, not heavy comfort. Think of it as preparing your body for a peaceful slumber. This means embracing whole, unprocessed foods. Imagine a plate with a beautifully grilled piece of salmon, rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3s. Alongside it, some steamed asparagus and a scoop of fluffy quinoa. Or perhaps a warm bowl of lentil soup, seasoned with herbs like thyme and rosemary instead of heaps of salt. Swap out the frozen dinner for a simple baked sweet potato, a powerhouse of nutrients. The goal is to eat a meal that satisfies you without sending your body into a state of alarm. By lowering your sodium intake in the evening, you allow your body to naturally regulate its fluid balance. You're not just eating dinner, you're setting the stage for a night of true, deep, and healing rest. George made the switch, and within 2 weeks, he reported that the constant pressure had finally begun to ease. He was giving his prostate the peace it had been asking for all along. Part 3. Diffusing the pressure cooker. Why you must answer the nightly call. The moment is all too familiar. You stir from a deep sleep, and there it is, that unmistakable signal from your bladder. It's 2 a.m., the room is dark, the floor is cold, and your bed is warm and inviting. The temptation is immense. Just roll over, squeeze a little, and hope the feeling goes away. We tell ourselves we're too tired to get up, that it's better to preserve our sleep. But in making this choice, we are unknowingly turning our own body into a pressure cooker, and the prostate is right in the center of the heat.
Holding in urine, especially for prolonged periods overnight, is one of the most mechanically damaging things we can do to our aging urinary system. Let's visualize it. A healthy bladder is an elastic, muscular sac. When you resist the urge to go, that sac is forced to stretch beyond its comfortable capacity. Over time, just like an overstretched rubber band, the bladder walls can lose their elasticity and muscle tone. This makes the bladder less efficient at contracting and emptying completely when you finally do go to the bathroom. This is where the direct impact on the prostate becomes critical. The immense pressure from a superfull bladder doesn't just stay contained. It pushes downward and backward, exerting direct physical force on the already enlarged prostate. This constant pressure exacerbates inflammation and can even obstruct the tiny ducts within the prostate, leading to congestion. Furthermore, the urine that remains in the bladder after an incomplete emptying, known as residual urine, becomes stagnant. Stagnant, warm urine is the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. This significantly increases the risk of urinary tract infections, UTIs, which can be particularly painful and dangerous for older men, and can lead to a condition called prostatitis, a painful inflammation of the prostate gland itself. It's not just a matter of comfort, it's a matter of mechanical and biological health. I recall a conversation with a wonderful man named Arthur, a proud 85-year-old veteran. His motto was, "Mind over matter." He trained himself to ignore the nightly urges, believing it was a sign of discipline. Yet he was suffering from chronic discomfort, a feeling of incomplete relief, and recurrent UTIs. He saw getting up as a failure. We reframed the narrative. Getting up at night is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. It's an act of listening to your body's needs and responding with kindness. It's a moment of essential maintenance. By simply getting up and gently relieving the pressure, you are defusing the internal pressure cooker. You are protecting the delicate tissues of your bladder and prostate from strain and preventing the conditions that lead to infection. The solution here isn't a complex regimen. It is an act of simple obedience to your body's signals. When the urge comes, answer it. Don't fight it. Get up, go, and then return to a bed where your body can rest in a state of balance, not under pressure. Arthur made that mental shift, and it transformed his health. The UTIs stopped, the chronic discomfort faded. He learned that true discipline wasn't about ignoring his body, but about working in harmony with it.
Part 4. The unseen weight. How your sleep position shapes your health. Of all the habits we'll discuss, this one might be the most surprising. We spend roughly a third of our lives asleep, yet we give very little thought to the posture we hold during those crucial hours. For many, sleeping on the stomach is a position of deep-seated comfort, established since childhood. It feels cozy, secure. But for a man navigating the challenges of an aging prostate, this position can be like placing a small, unseen weight on the most sensitive part of his body, night after night. When you lie face down, gravity works against you. Your body weight, particularly from your torso and hips, presses down into the mattress, compressing your lower abdomen. This sustained, low-grade pressure directly affects the pelvic region, which houses your bladder, your rectum, and, right in the middle of it all, your prostate gland. This compression can have several negative effects. First, it can interfere with optimal blood flow to and from the pelvic organs. Good circulation is vital for carrying away inflammatory byproducts and delivering oxygen-rich blood for tissue repair. When you restrict that flow for hours at a time, you're creating an environment where inflammation can linger and worsen. Second, the physical pressure can prevent the bladder from expanding and relaxing naturally, leading to a constant state of tension in the pelvic floor muscles. For a man with BPH, this added tension can exacerbate the feeling of urgency and make it even more difficult to initiate a steady stream of urine in the morning. You wake up feeling not just a need to go, but a sense of blockage and tightness that was quite literally pressed into you while you slept. Think of Harold, the 74-year-old gardener we heard from. He complained of a mysterious morning tightness that he couldn't shake. He'd always been a stomach sleeper, often with one knee drawn up towards his chest, a classic position that twists the pelvis and adds even more focused pressure. The idea of changing a lifelong sleeping habit seemed impossible to him. But transformation is about small, gentle experiments. The ideal position to relieve this pressure is side sleeping. Specifically, sleeping on your left side is often recommended as it can help with digestion and circulation. But either side is vastly superior to your stomach. The key to making this transition comfortable is strategic pillow placement. This isn't just about your head, it's about supporting your whole body. Place a firm pillow between your knees. This simple act aligns your hips, takes the pressure off your lower back, and prevents your pelvis from twisting forward. You might also try hugging a larger pillow to your chest, which can replicate the secure, enclosed feeling that many stomach sleepers crave. Some people find that a wedge pillow, which slightly elevates the upper body, can also help reduce pressure on the bladder. It won't happen overnight. You might wake up and find you've defaulted to your old position. Be patient with yourself. Simply roll back to your side and readjust your pillows. Over time, your body will adapt. Harold tried the pillow between the knees trick. It took a couple of weeks, but he started waking up on his side more often. And with it, he noticed the morning tightness began to dissolve. He learned that the position in which you rest is as important as the rest itself. By removing that unseen nightly weight, you give your prostate and the entire pelvic region the space and peace it needs to heal.
Part 5. The Ritual of Release. The non-negotiable final stop. The day is done. The teeth are brushed. The pajamas are on. The lights are low. You're finally settled into bed, book resting on your chest, feeling the gentle pull of sleep. Then, a faint signal arises, a mild, barely there suggestion that you might need to use the bathroom. It's so easy to dismiss. I just went an hour ago, you might think. It's not urgent. I'll just go in the morning. This small act of dismissal, of skipping that final trip to the bathroom, may seem insignificant, but it's a missed opportunity to perform a crucial nightly ritual for your prostate health. Going to bed with a partially full bladder, even if it's just a small amount, sets a specific chain of events in motion. That urine doesn't just sit there passively. Over the course of a long night, it puts a steady, gentle pressure on your bladder walls. As we've learned, this pressure contributes to inflammation. But more importantly, it creates a stagnant pool, an ideal environment for any lingering bacteria to multiply. This elevates the risk for irritation and infection. For a prostate that is already enlarged and sensitive, this is like leaving a smoldering ember next to a pile of dry leaves. The concept here is not just about emptying, it's about resetting. Think of it as shutting down a factory for the night. You wouldn't leave the machines running and materials sitting out on the assembly line. You'd clean up, turn everything off, and lock the doors. Emptying your bladder completely before you surrender to sleep is the biological equivalent of this. It gives your entire urinary system a clean slate. It ensures your bladder and prostate are under the least possible amount of stress during their most important hours of recovery and repair. I spoke with Peter, a 69-year-old who admitted he was just plain lazy about it. The habit of not going right before bed was ingrained. He was also the one who complained about waking up frequently and having a difficult, hesitant start to his urination in the morning. He didn't connect the two behaviors until we talked it through. He viewed that final bathroom trip as a chore. We worked on reframing it as a powerful act of self-care, a ritual of release. It's the final, loving thing you do for your body at the end of the day. The solution is to make it an unbreakable part of your bedtime routine, right up there with brushing your teeth. It doesn't matter if the urge is strong or weak, make the trip. Sometimes it helps to practice a technique called double voiding. After you urinate, remain on the toilet for another 30 seconds, take a few deep breaths to relax your pelvic muscles, and then gently try to go again. You might be surprised that a little more is released. This ensures you are as empty as possible. This simple 2-minute ritual can have a profound impact. It can reduce the number of times you wake up, lower your risk of nighttime inflammation, and promote a healthier urinary tract. Peter adopted this ritual. He told me it felt strange at first, going when he didn't feel a desperate urge. But soon, he noticed his nights were calmer and his mornings were easier. He described it as starting the day without a backlog. By performing this final act of release, you are sending a clear message to your body. We're done for the day, you can rest now. It's a small step that brings immense peace to your prostate and your mind.
So many of us have quietly accepted discomfort as an inevitable part of our journey in age. We've normalized the late-night bathroom trips, the feeling of pressure that never quite fades, the sense that our own bodies are working against us. But as we've discovered together today on SeniorWise Journey, so much of that struggle isn't rooted in age, but in habit. We've pulled back the curtain on 5 silent saboteurs: the late-night water that floods our system, the salty dinner that inflames it, the nightly pressure cooker of holding it in, the unseen weight of a poor sleep position, and the skipped ritual of that final release. None of these seem like major offenses, but night after night, they add up, placing a heavy burden on a prostate that is simply asking for a little peace. The most empowering truth is this: your body wants to heal. It doesn't need a magic pill. It needs your cooperation. It needs you to let go of the small things that are causing harm. Your journey to better sleep, better flow, and a profound sense of well-being can begin tonight with one small change. Thank you for joining us on this vital journey. If this message resonated with you, please help our community grow. Like this video, share it with a friend who might benefit, and be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a new journey. Your story matters. Leave a comment below and share one habit you plan to transform. Welcome to the SeniorWise Journey family.